All right, we are 3 minutes past the hour. I propose we get started. Welcome to everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today at this GetFTR webinar, where we celebrate 5 years and counting of GetFTR and would like to give you an update on what is happening and what is about to happen, how the GetFTR journey will continue. There are still some people coming in, that's fine, but in the interest of time, I do propose we get started. I have the pleasure to welcome you all today. My name is Hielke Koers. I'm the Chief Information Officer for STM Solutions, and I also serve as the Program Director for GetFTR. I'm joined here today with several of my GetFTR colleagues. They are here on the agenda. After the introduction, Heather Staines will kick it off today to give you an overview of GetFTR, talk through what has happened in the last 5 years, celebrating 5 years of GetFTR existing. And also starting it off with a bit of an introduction for people that are newer to GetFTR. Heather will hand over to Diane, and Diane will talk us through the product roadmap and then hand it over to Mark Heaver. Mark Heaver joins us from Taylor & Francis, where he is a senior product manager, and he will be talking about Taylor & Francis experiences with GetFTR. At the end, we'll have ample time for discussions that I will be moderating. And as a little bit of housekeeping, what I would ask all of you to do is if you have questions during the presentation, please either write them for yourselves or put them in the chat. We have ample time to address questions at the end, but for the flow, we prefer to park them after the presentations. And secondly, just to note, the presentation part of the meeting today will be recorded and made available on the GetFTR website. This is a regular Zoom meeting. It's not a webinar setting, so please be mindful that if you are not muting yourself, then you can be heard. So if you're not speaking or not asking questions, please make sure that you mute yourself. I'd also like to remind everybody that GetFTR is committed to complying with all applicable competition and antitrust laws. If a discussion occurs that anyone believes involves competitively sensitive information or might raise any issues under applicable laws, then that individual should interrupt to point out their objections and request that the conversation cease and leave the meeting if it does not. With that housekeeping out of the way, let me hand it over to Heather to give you an overview of GetFTR. Heather.
Thanks so much, Hilke. As Hilke said, I'm Heather Staines. I've been working on both publisher and integrator outreach for GetFTR for about 4.5 years now. So I'm, very excited to give you some information on the latest developments. Wonderful to see so many familiar names, but also some new folks. So we wanted to do a quick introduction to what is GetFTR in case you're not familiar with it. And I will always say, this is going to be quick. So if you would like more detail and have the opportunity to talk through it more with us, don't hesitate to reach out and we'd be happy to set up a one-on-one call with you. So first off, what is GetFTR and how does it work behind the scenes? So as you can see here on the slide on the right-hand side is a visual indication of how GetFTR can look, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. So GetFTR does DOI level entitlements checks and matches that against information provided by publishers in real time. These indicators for access are going to be visible in discovery tools and show where full text is available to a researcher, either because their institution has a subscription or the content is open access or free to read. You can see on the right side there in the hover over, it says full text available through the University of Manchester. So that's just an example of a tooltip on letting the researcher know the library has been involved in getting them, that content, so reinforcing the role of the library. Those GetFTR indicators are in front of smart links. So these links go to trusted content provided by publishers, and they remove unnecessary steps in many cases, and they give the researchers a signal that they will be able to get through to that content. One of the developments, which we'll talk a little bit more about today, is the addition of retraction and update information at the point of discovery. You can see a couple of instances there on the right-hand side where there is a notice that content has been retracted. So letting the researcher know as far as possible upstream that there's a problem with content. If there's a significant update, they can look at that and see whether they believe it's a material update. Can still go through and look at it, but they're going through with a full awareness of what they're going to be finding. For discovery tools, it's free of charge to do an integration with GetFTR, and there's a number of different UX options available. And a little while back, we did release a GetFTR browser extension. So a lot of our library friends are promoting that on to individual researchers. And so what you see on the right-hand side is actually a depiction using the GetFTR browser extension and inserting those smart links on top of Google Scholar search results. So the browser extension, as you'll see, works anywhere where there is a DOI, either exposed on the web or visible in the metadata. And we're also working in title author matches as well. So, we'll be talking a little bit more about that. So just in all instances, when possible, to show those indicators. Next slide, please, Hilka. So what's really happening behind the scenes? Step one, our researcher, she's just going about her regular discovery flow, the places that she likes to go to start her journey. These could be scholarly collaboration tools. These could be discovery services. And she puts in a DOI or keywords or an author title combo. And then behind the scenes, the GetFTR API call goes out to participating publishers. And then at a DOI level, it populates her search results there on her screen. Participating publishers indicate where she'll be able to get through. She sees those links, she clicks on those links, and she can move her way through the search results, even if she's moving from publisher to publisher, because once she's gone through an authentication journey once at her institution, if she's not already IP authenticated, that session will be active for all of the participating publishers. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of detail, because there are some other services that you may be familiar with who are already providing entitlements information at some level. GetFTR is that information is coming directly from publishers, so it's highly accurate, reducing the potential for a mismatch in the metadata. It's real time based on that API integration. It's at a DOI level, so it will get the open access content that is in those hybrid journals, which is extremely important, as we know, as well as fully OA journals being included, and it's automated. Next slide, please. So GetFTR signals entitlements with that little circle indicator, as well as the smart links. And so it takes the uncertainty and frustration out of the equation for researchers, where they may unexpectedly hit a paywall, or they may not have their ability to log in on every potential platform they might be looking at for their research. Here's just a couple of examples on how the UI may be depicted. One here is from Semantic Scholar from the Allen Institute, and then the other lower one on the right there is from the Scholarly Collaboration Network, Mendeley. So there's several ways that integrators can actually set this up, and we have guidelines, and we can also consult with you to see what's going to work best for you. Next slide, please. So this improves the user experience from that discovery level through those tools, on through reading the articles, and then down into the article references. So as I mentioned, this removes uncertainty. The link that the researcher sees will always lead to the full text. And in the event that the researcher has access in multiple places, they will get a link there to the trusted version provided by the publisher. Next slide, please. Sorry, we've got some folks need to mute if that's possible. Thank you. So this process safeguards research integrity. The researcher sees the status of the content at the point of discovery, including any retractions or updates. And what you see there on the right now is the researcher has clicked on that retraction indicator, and they do actually see the full history from the moment that a correction or an expression of concern was issued on through retraction. They can see, what the reasoning is behind that. So gives them an opportunity either before they've gone to the article or checking again before they submit for publication. Next slide, please. So you may have seen some announcements, including some information today that GetFTR has recently turned 5. We've come quite a long way since the launch in 2020. It's hard to believe that much time has passed. In the last year, the GetFTR API has handled 5.7 billion entitlement requests. Yes, billion with a B, with 38 publishers providing those checks, covering 68% of all articles and 100% of the articles that are open access. GetFTR has delivered 2.4 billion smart links so far to 33 tools and platforms that integrate. And that includes 10 publishers integrating on those article references I mentioned, and 6 that are displaying that retraction and errata information so far. That is a newer service. So as you can imagine, these numbers increase all the time. So this is nearly an impossible slide to keep up to date. Next slide, please. So the GetFTR journey, it really has been one of extending that value into additional use cases and improving and broadening benefits for researchers and really every stakeholder. So today, GetFTR supports multiple use cases, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to revisit all of them through this little historical timeline there on the right-hand side. So back in 2020, the GetFTR API provided entitlements checks and smart links, supporting both IP and federated authentication. We launched the GetFTR discovery tool to do demos and illustrate the user experience. Then in 2021, publishers started to integrate on those references. And this was really something that publishers came to us and said, hey, this would be a great idea, to do this. And so we're like, cool, let's make it happen. We held a workshop for aggregators also that year to agree on how we could include more aggregated content, and those conversations are ongoing, and we'd love to have your input on that as well. As more publishers and discoveries tools came on board, we did develop the self-service portal to streamline that onboarding process. Next up, 2022. We started to provide support for syndicators and developed the central entitlement service to provide very fast response time for syndicators like ResearchGate. And so all integrators can actually now benefit from those centralized entitlements and those faster decisions as a central entitlement service forms part of our core GetFTR service. In 2023, we launched the OA service, providing links to 100% of OA content, regardless of whether a publisher is participating in GetFTR or not. We also launched the redirector service so that GetFTR can measure clicks on those GetFTR links and mini tools that integrate to show how that increases usage for participating publishers. And then last year, we launched the GetFTR browser extension that I showed you first up, which currently handles around 100,000 entitlement checks per week and provides GetFTR smart links to all websites, including social media, news, and discovery tools that haven't integrated. I myself use this browser extension. I don't have any university entitlements, and I'm continually amazed by when it pops up and how beneficial it's been for me. Highly recommend it. The extension has also proven useful in conversations with prospective publishers and integrators because it illustrates just how GetFTR can improve the discovery and access to full text. And so you can test it out and see how it will look on your service before you do the final integration, and you have some ideas about that. Also, GetFTR started to deliver retraction and errata. You're getting a little ahead of me there, Hilka. Started to deliver in 2024 retraction and errata information from Crossref and Retraction Watch to support research integrity. Now, finally, 2025, this year, we began to support perpetual rights by storing journal transfer information and sending requests to both the current and the previous publishers. And I'm part of the transfer working group, and this is an amazing thing to be able to do on behalf of that content that has moved. The extension adds links to popular preprint servers where the researcher is entitled to the version of record without the need for the researcher or the publisher to actually take any action. The extension also enables researchers to save links to reference managers. This is relatively new, so even if you're familiar with GetFTR, you may not have heard about that yet. So we'd love to tell you more. And the GetFTR API now delivers publishers' internal customer ID to syndicating platforms so that on and off platform usage can easily be aggregated. We're testing that right now with the Science Direct chemistry aggregation and add upon, and we look forward to rolling that out more broadly. So if you have questions about aggregating usage for content that appears on multiple platforms, we'd love to talk to you about that further. Next slide, please. And I will now happily hand over to our product manager, Diane Benham.
Thank you, Heather. As Heather mentioned, I'm Diane. I'm the GetFTR product director and have been on the team since inception. So what's next for GetFTR in the final half of 2025 and on to looking ahead to 2026? Alongside supporting publishers and discovery tools with onboarding, the GetFTR product team continues to enhance existing services and will be testing new propositions. As Heather mentioned, the GetFTR browser extension already provides links from preprints to the version of record where the researcher is entitled. However, I've had a number of people who manage preprint servers contact me to ask if they could integrate directly with GetFTR so that all users benefit, not just those that install the extension. This feature will be available soon, and it uses title, author, journal, and date to match the different versions of the article. GetFTR will also deliver license information provided by Crossref, including license type, URL to the Creative Commons website, and license start date. This information can be displayed in the many tools that integrate with GetFTR to inform readers what they're entitled to do with the content. The GetFTR browser extension will be the first to display this in the hover state. We're working on a drop-in GetFTR button to speed up integrations by providing a script that works like the browser extension, adding GetFTR buttons where a DOI has been identified that the researcher is entitled to on any discovery tool that uses the script. And this is without the need for the tool to send an API call on the integrator side. Our developers today have told me that it should take hours to integrate rather than days. So that should be a huge improvement. We continue to invest in the browser extension, which, as Heather mentioned, adds GetFTR buttons to all websites, and plan to support Safari alongside Chrome, Edge, and Firefox, which already exist. Additionally, we'll enable users to save links to additional popular reference managers alongside Mendeley. Lastly, we'll be testing a number of new propositions, including benchmarking for publishers and benchmarking for discovery tools to see how their content and platforms are performing, and librarian, author, and funder tools to see if GetFTR can provide valuable insights to these new audiences. Lastly, we're in active discussions with providers of AI tools to see how GetFTR could provide additional support. We're at the discovery stage, so more on this soon. If you're interested in finding out more about any of these enhancements or new propositions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Handing you over to Mark at Taylor & Francis, who use both the publisher and integrator part of the service, and are also a founder of GetFTR. Over to you, Mark.
Hi, hello everyone. So I'm Mark Heaver. I'm a senior product manager at Taylor & Francis, and as Diane said, I've been with the program since inception. I think that was from 2019, and it's been a great, fantastic journey so far. I've been proud to be a part of it. You can see the quote there, which is taken, I think, from the 5-year anniversary announcements that were made. Go to the next slide, please. So if you'd like to see it, there's two ends of GetFTR. There's the publisher side of the implementation, and then there's the integrator side of the implementation. And because publishers display references on their platform and links out to other publishers and other pieces of content, as publishers, we're able to implement both ends of both those APIs, both the publisher API and the integrator API, with the GetFTR centralized infrastructure there at the center. Go to the next one, please. So as founding members of GetFTR, we were very early adopters and obviously implemented the publisher API, which, according to our developers over here, it's quite lightweight and easy to implement. We're showing those real-time entitlements and smart links that can be delivered across the integrators' platforms. So we host our journal content with Atipon, who implemented our APIs to query Crossref and our own entitlement system. Atipon have been able to replicate this as well for ATS, of course, who are another founding member, and it's part now of Atipon's core code. I think they can implement it pretty easily and cut to that across all of their publishers. And we have a separate books platform that's not hosted with Atipon, which we've also implemented the publisher API on. So we're able to communicate access rights, of course, to all our subscription content if you're affiliated with a library, and open access, of course, which is of course really important to help disseminate that. And as Heather said earlier, not every user is affiliated with an institution, so it's really good to promote those open access titles and journals and content as well. So as an integrator, we've also managed to add GetFTR onto our references. It seemed obvious to do this, although I think we realised quite late that this was an opportunity for us to sort of support GetFTR at both ends. So it's a good visual representation of GetFTR on our site as well. So it contributes well to the goals of transparency and user journey, where the users can hop from one host to another, one reference to another, one article to another. We're happy with all the implementations we've had so far to drive traffic to and from Taylor & Francis. And I say from as well as to, because it's important not to put the publisher here at the center. The user is at the center of this workflow here, so that it's all about giving the user good free movement, frictionless movement across academic environment. So more recent implementation was to add retraction and errata in data and links. So I think we're one of the first publishers to do so, but this is quickly being rolled out. As you saw, I think there are 6 publishers now who have rolled out the retraction and errata links. I think communication of retraction and errata information is becoming more important. It's growing in importance across the industry. NISO, for example, have a standard on this. Google Scholar also keen to show retraction and errata information firmly across their search results. So it's important that we GetFTR pick this up as well to help disseminate that information and flag information up in a standard way to the users. The searchers and readers of published works come across the works in a variety of ways. It doesn't always include links to the accessing the original article. So it's great to increase the visibility and save the end user time in their decision making. The retraction information comes from Retraction Watch, and the errata information comes from Crossref. The errata information is important to note probably that it doesn't include every article update. It includes corrections to the academic record rather than metadata updates. So it's not going to flag this up for just a redeposit of the article, but it's real corrections rather than changes to metadata. Both buttons include click-throughs for further information or hover over state as well, but that can be bypassed quite easily because the view article links remain in place. So yeah, GetFTR was developed to assist with researcher workflows and encourage ease of use and transparency. Flagging of retractions and errata with the same workflow, within the same workflow, is very much an extension of that. And it's a very natural progression, I think, for GetFTR to take. to help build up that transparency, provide users with valuable information needed for their research and as early in the workflow as possible. This has gained a lot of support across internally, actually, within Taylor & Francis, because we've got an integrity and policy team here that have been really keen for us to implement this, and I'm really pleased to see it there. So it's great to be using this piece of functionality, and I'll just look forward to whatever comes next for GetFTR on the next implementation. Okay.
Hilke, you are muted.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. And thank you to all of our speakers for the presentations, helping to set the scene and present GetFTR, what we've been up to and what the future is expected to hold in stock.